Bhagavad Gita as it is. We read only one verse yesterday. This purpose is very big, 24 parts about impersonalist. So why Krishna is not manifested in impersonalist and demigod worship? Means Kormis and Gyanis. Krishna is giving the answer. 20. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita muroyam na abhijanati lokamam ajam appayam. No, aham I. Prakasha manifest. Sarvasya to everyone. Yogamaya by internal potency. Shamavrita covered. Mura foolish. Ayam this. No, not. Abhijanati can understand. Loka persons. Mam, me. Ajam unborn. Appayam inexistable. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and inexistable. It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he has not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present there, there are only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupala spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the Supreme God. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the Supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure. But to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he is covered by his internal potency. In the prayers of Kunti, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad, in which the devotee prays, Hiranmayana patrana shattasya aphitam mukham tattam pushan apabrinu shatta dharmaya dishyate. O Lord, O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by Yogamaya. The Brahmajyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge, is covered by the internal potency of the Brahmajyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a prayer by Brahma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn, but also a boy, inexhaustible. This eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are also inexhaustible. 626. Vedaham shamatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishani cha bhutani mam tu vedo na kaschana. Vedaham, I know. Shama otitani, completely the past. Shama means complete. Otit, shamotit, completely the past. Vartamanani, present. Cha, and Arjun, Bhavishani, future. Souls, Bhutani, all living entities. Mam, me, tu, but. Vedo, knows. No, not. Kaschana, everyone. Arjun, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past. All that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities. But me, no one knows. Here the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Maya, material, as the impersonalists considered him to be, then like the living entity, he would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can we foretell his future life, nor can he predict what will happen in his present life. Therefore, he cannot know the events of past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, what will happen in the future. In the 4th chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivashva, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as super soul and his presence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as the Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. He is just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is a sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all this in the sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. As it is stated in the third verse of this chapter, out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in this human form of life. And out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna consciousness. So before starting this purport, Prabhupada asked question. People may ask question. Why Krishna is not manifest? Why is karting? Prabhupada has given a nice example, like cloud. Cloud is covering not the sun, actually our vision to see sun. So Lord is covering not himself actually. Our vision is covering. It is not Krishna's fault. It is Krishna is open to all. His coming, his sending his devotees, and sending his instruction, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, to know him. But rascals will not accept. Why? Because if they accept, their sense gratification will stop. That is better not to accept. So that is their defect. That Krishna is willfully not manifesting to others. Now, why these people vision is covered? Here is another answer. Ichha desha samuthena danda mohena bhat. Sarvabhutani sammoham sarge jati paranta. Ichha, desire, desha, and hate. Samuthena arising from Danda duality mohena by the illusion. Bharata or Sian of Bharat. Sarva, all Bhutan living entities. Shammaham, into delusion. Sharge, while taking birth. Sharga means primary creation. Sharge, while taking birth. Janti, go. Parantapa, O conqueror of enemies. Yeah. Sharge Janti Parantapa means while taking birth. Ocean of Bharat, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildering by dualities arising from desire and hate. Yes, desire and hate. Want to desire their sense gratification, and those who are stopping them, they hate them. That is why their vision is covered. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, it becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Sri Krishna appears by his internal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and essence think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. This is called duality. Dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. That means I and mine. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can know? Jashang tu antagata papam jananam no karman. Te danda mohani mukta bhajante mantra. Jasham. Those two but. Why but? Previous verses. Previous verses. So, this is unfortunate whose eyes are covered. But there are some. There are those who antagatam papam. Papam sin antagatam. Completely eradicated. Jasham tu antagatam papam. Whose sin completely eradicated. Jananam of the persons, their punna karmana, the pious, whose previous activities are pious, punna karmana. They danda moha nirmukta, they are free from the delusion of duality. And then bhajante, engage devotional service, ma, to me, drabhata, with determination. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose simple actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously, and who have conquered sinful reactions can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of God. Then gradually they can meditate in trance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness, in the association of pure devotees. For in the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that if one actually wants to liberate it, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat Shivam Dharam Ahurmi. But one who associates with the materialistic people is on the path of leading to the darkest region of existence. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists do not know that, forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination. How one can come that stage? Jara maran mokshaya mamasya jatanti. Jatanti je te brahma vidu kritsnam adhyatmam karmachakhi. Jara maran mokshayo. Mokshayo for the purpose of liberation from jara moksha. Jara means from old age, moksha death. So, for the purpose of liberation from old age and death, Mama Srito, taking shelter of me, Jatunti Indeva, Ji, all those who, they, such person, Brahma, Tat actually that, Vidu they know, Kritsnam, everything, Adhyatmam, transcendental karma, activities also, Akhilam, entirely. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in main individual service. Sorry, I'm reading it. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in main individual service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Birth, death, old age, and diseases affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So one who attains a spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in the eternal devotional service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi, I am a spirit. It is said that one should understand that is Brahma, spirit, soul. The Brahman conception of life is also a devotional service, as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform, and they know everything about transcendental activities. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals, and by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mam Asrita, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they're actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna. Thus, they're factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the Lord or Archa of the Lord, or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage, also know by the grace of the Lord the purports of Brahma, Adhibhuta, etc. Brahma, Adhibhuta, etc. As explained in the Lord in the next chapter. Krishna is saying, how to know him? To know, one should know perfectly. Samandha, Lord, living entities, nature. We should know him completely. That is completely. Shadi bhutam, Shadi bhuta, Shadi bhuta, Oti daivang mam, Shadi yoggam chajividu. Prayan kale api cha ma, te vidur yukta chetashaha. Sha adhibhuta, and the governing principle of the material manifestation. Adhidaivam, governing all the demigods. Ma, me. Sha, Adhijagam, and governing all sacrifices. Cha also, Je, those who Vidu know. Prayan Kale, at the time of death. Api, even. Cha also. Ma, me. Te, they. Vidu know. Yukta. Yukta Chatash. Their minds engaged in me. Translation. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation, or the demigods, and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is governing principle of the material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Golok Vrindavan. This seventh chapter particularly explains how one can become a fully Krishna conscious person. The beginning of Krishna consciousness is association of person who are Krishna consciousness. Adau Sruddha Tata Sadhushan. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by his grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the same time, one can really understand the constitutional position of the living entity and how the living entity forgets Krishna and becomes entangled in material activities. By gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, he has become conditioned by the laws of material nature. He can also understand that this human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness. and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this purport. The man in distress, the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, artha, knowledge of Brahman, gaining, knowledge of Paramatma, yogi, liberation from birth, death, and diseases, and worship of the Supreme Law, Bhakta. However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care for the different processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby factually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by his doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Dhruvrata. Dhruvrata. Brata means bhav, dhru means on faith. And it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. The 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction. Thus end. The 7th chapter, what is the substance? Conviction. Yes. If we are Krishna conscious, Krishna will take care of us. Thus end the Bhaktivanta purports to the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad in the matter of knowledge of the Absolute. Okay, Gulshan has raised his hand.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much Maharaj for this wonderful class. Maharaj, in the purport of 28th verse, in the end, Srila Prabhupada ji writes that unless one is restrained in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination. So my question is that Maharaj, until one is not engaged in transcendental loving service, how can he stand in his own constitutional position?
No, it is side by side. When you start little service, you little understand. Little understand, more service. More service, little more understand. Little more understand, more service. This will go this way. Like faith and association. Little faith, more association. More association, more faith. You go side by side. It is not that complete faith, then it is no. It is reciprocal. It will help each other.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Barsha.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for this wonderful class. Maharaj, as it was mentioned that unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. So I wanted to ask that does all the pure devotees know about all past, present, and future as they are beyond this? Like we hear that Guru knows about the disciples, past, present, and future. But I wanted to know, even if we are not disciples, the pure devotees knows about our past, present, and future also, or I'm not able to understand this.
One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, do you know everything? You are challenging any question. Prabhupada said, no, I don't know everything, but whatever is required, Krishna will tell me. So pure devotee doesn't know everything, but whatever is required, he knows that. That passes. He may not know the equation of chemistry, how to clean the toilet. He may not know that, but that is not necessary. Okay, Chittarishan.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Danak Pranam. Thank you very much Maharaj for such a wonderful class. My question is that Maharaj, Shraddha is of two kinds, like Swabhavaki and Bal Utpida. So for in initial level, when we preach some student, we want that more and more devotee should become, more and more students should become devotee. So sometimes we uh, do Val Utpida type of Shraddha, like we impose some Shraddha. So to what extent that Shraddha is right, like Maharaj?
Really, preaching means transmitting Shraddha. When you preach someone, he will see your faith in Krishna. With the degree he will convince. So when you preach someone, just transmitting your faith to him. How much you have faith for holy name? How much you have faith for your spiritual master? How much faithful for serving Lord? How much you have faith on the deity is Krishna? How much you have faith the Mahaprasad is not different from Krishna? So people are watching you. According to degree of your realization, people will understand. So that is for preaching. First, we should increase our faith of this transcendental matter. We should preach, at the same time, we should increase our faith also. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, as it is.
Krishna Maharaj.